Hey everyone, this is Patrick, and I am back with some more first reactions. I'm going to cover the five metal releases that I listened to that came out on Friday, July 20th. Up first is Gateway and their album Galgan Dude out on Transcending Obscurity Records. This is a Death Doom project from Belgium. They give you 6 tracks, 30 minutes and 17 seconds of music. Cool album art. And yeah, this sounds exactly as one would expect for some modern Death Doom. Now, I ended up giving this a 7, and for me, the reason it didn't get any higher than 7 was because, for the most part, unfortunately, these songs all sounded like almost like interludes or instrumentals that you would have on a Death Doom record. Not very strong songwriting in my opinion, but the overall atmosphere, the dread, the heaviness is there. That's why I couldn't give it lower than a 7. Good debut. For fans of Zompantly, Severus, yeah, just check out Gateway if you are into Death Doom. I know it hits our ears differently. They are definitely not a bad band by any means. Up next is a pretty hyped up release, Mizmor, and his fourth, I believe, full length, Prosaic, out on Profound Lore Records. Mizmor is a one-man project from Portland, Oregon. This time around, he gives you 4 tracks and 46 minutes and 15 seconds of music. Love the artwork, love the title. I'm going into this. ALN, that's the name of, that's the initials of the man who makes up Mizmor. He discussed that he was going to be less of a perfectionist, let the music drive him and not be super over analytical on how all the parts sound. Of course, all that is subjective, but yeah, the style of music that Mizmor plays is black and doom, proper black metal riffing, proper black metal drum performance and vocal performance, and it transitions into these drone doom parts. So it's a pretty decent, unique sounding blend of black and doom metal. But for me, I try really hard to really like this album because I like Mizmor. I like what he stands for. I like his creative process, the way he thinks. This is a 7.4 out of 10 for me, so it does miss that mark as far as it being a catalog or library piece that I want to add to my collection. Yeah, I don't necessarily enjoy listening to this as much as I would want to. Uh, it doesn't lose me entirely, that's why it's a decent score. Um, the guitar tone is pretty fuzzy, so if you like the more sludgy or fuzzy end of heavy guitar tuning and um, distortion, this will be a good album for you to check out. Mizmor, love the split that he did with Thou last year. One of my favorite albums of the year, probably a perfect record. This one doesn't quite hit me as hard. Mizmor, Prosaic, Profound Lore. Listen to it yourself. Make up your own opinion. Mine is a 7.4 out of 10 after 3 listens. Next up is a rising star from the LA, California area, post-black metal band Agriculture with their self-titled debut album. 6 tracks, 31 minutes and 19 seconds of music. This I was anticipating based on their EP, based on the singles that have already been put out. And I like this way more on my first listen than on I think I listened to it twice more after that. So this actually fell pretty hard after a couple of listens. The novelty wore off. Also 7.4 out of 10. Man, when the black metal riffing kicks in, they sound like Immortal. Super aggressive, interesting, you know, a bit technical on the riffing end. Uh, there's some mathcore elements on this, definitely some ambient country even atmosphere that's created with acoustic guitars. I think some of the transitions between songs are clunky. Doesn't make any sense to me how clunky they are actually. Uh, some of the transitions inside the songs don't work quite as well as I think, as you would want. Uh, but man, this band has lots of potential. I might give it another listen to see if it goes above that 7.5 mark, but because I started it at like an 8, I don't know. This felt pretty hard for me, relatively speaking. But if you like Death Heaven, post black metal, if you like your black metal mixed with ambience and post hardcore, give Agriculture a listen. They have a lot for you to dig your teeth into, but not quite enough for me. Agriculture with Agriculture. Cool band name, by the way. I don't know why I like it so much, but yeah, and cool logo. Next up is a band Ageless Summoning with their debut full-length Corrupting the Untempled Plane out on Dark Descent. 10 tracks, 49 minutes and 30 seconds of music. Paulo Girardi artwork. One of my favorites of his that I've seen. This is a good solid Steve Tucker era, Gateways of Annihilation, Morbid Angel era death metal album. It is a bit long. I did want a little bit more variety on this. I have gone back to it. It stays around the 7.9 range for me every time I listen to it. Good record. I would say very good record. Not quite great record. I can see my mind changing in either direction regarding this release, but for now it's a solid 7.9 out of 10 by Ageless Summoning. Finally, I'm upset right now that the slide is messed up, but this is Outer Heaven with Infinite Psychic Depths out on Release Records from Douglasville, PA. This is their second full length. These are maniacs. These are maniacs. Their debut came out in 2017. They had some music out since then, but we've been waiting 6 years for a follow-up. 11 tracks, 46 minutes of music, 12 minutes longer than their debut full length. So what do they give us on this? Outer Heaven produced one of the heaviest, gnarliest, riff-tastic death metal albums of 2023 to my ears. This is a 9 out of 10 for me. This band takes some time to get used to because it's so heavy and so dense and hyper buzzsaw guitar tone. The riffs transition and change at breakneck speed. That it can sometimes sound like a blur. You're enjoying the blur, right? You're really getting into the rhythms. Once their guitar style and speed and technique catch up to you, you really hear how much these riffs just kick total ass. The influences range from the history of death metal here. You hear brutal, you hear suffocation, I hear a lot of Carcass on this album. In both the vocal delivery and some of the more sort of catchier riff style, I hear Cannibal Corpse. But really I hear Outer Heaven. Outer Heaven has at this point developed their own sound, and these songs just keep coming after you one after the other. Great lead work on this. Derek from Tomb Mold, who's the guitarist of Tomb Mold, plays bass on this album. Cool bass lines poke through every now and then on this record. One of my favorite records of the year. Love it, love it, love it. Outer Heaven. Just check this album out if you like modern old school death metal. You will not be disappointed. Thanks for watching. See you in the comment section, and remember to stay heavy.